Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Good morning. Well, we have a day in front of us. Let's just put it that way, huh? To the charts. Make it all big. Make it all big for you like that, right? Okay, so E-mini. Here was the news. Big move down. Broke, short-term support yesterday. Pushed down. Got rejected. But then they kept fighting, and eventually they broke right through. It didn't do it until late in the session. And then you can see we kind of been ranging a little bit lower. And here in ZN, they were starting to move up. Man, something happened. And then this morning, another push even lower. But there's still some support down here at 127.5. So we've kind of got an interesting situation. Well, I mean, looks like a reversal to me in the Treasuries. And the equities are very unhappy about it. That's what's going on as of late. I think my bias is going to have to be for sell all the things once again. But we have some news. Well, we don't have news today, right? Let's see here. Tuesday, July 9th at 6:30. Canadian building permits. Fed Chairman Powell starts speaking at 6:45. Okay, so in 30 minutes. Chairman Powell is going to start speaking. Let's change this so that I can only see U.S. news. That'll make it a little easier to read. Yes, we have JOLTS at 10. And we also have 2 FOMC members speaking. So, I'll be watching. We'll see if they try doing something like they did yesterday where there's some action right off of the open in Treasuries, because they kind of look poised to do something. But, yeah, I don't think this is a super positive setup. Let's see what we can get. Let's see, I have a bunch of windows open here that I just don't need. I guess I should note also here, I can bring it up, Bitcoin had a couple of moves up, and now they are turning back around again, potentially. I mean, it's looking like higher highs and everything, but I don't know, folks. It's just not doing normal things. Oh, I forgot to get my multivitamin. Fix that. You don't want to go without the multivitamin, guys. You need that. And I see Ron, Uzi, and Lucas. We got all our regulars here. So Powell speaking, yep. Not for another, 20, 25 minutes or so. But, Okay, here we go. So there was a little bit of movement before the open, but pretty dead. Which is what we should expect. Cool. That's taken care of. By the way, did you guys check out our my video yesterday about Andrew Yang? Holy crap. We're up to almost up to 600 views now in the first day, which I think that's about equal to the Procter and Gamble video. So, yeah. But man, some of the comments on there, whoa! There was some real. Let me go. Let's go look. We'll go look. Since I'm just not so sure that I can even touch this. Oh, you know what? We need to change our sound. So anyway, so here's a video. Let's scroll down. Let's see if I can find some of these, the more crazy ones. Bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Man, there was some of these ones that was like, what the heck? There's this one that was like going into Bible stuff and things. Man, I can't find it. My wife was reading this one to me yesterday that was like, oh my gosh. What is this deal? I like this one right here. Where was it? It's quite a disturbing point that you've brought up forth about the need for Congress to pass such policies such as the freedom dividend if Yang were elected as president. Are you able to predict the likelihood that he would get such a policy to pass through Congress? Huh? Look at me. Look at me. That's the chances that a freedom dividend gets passed. It's equal to Andrew Yang's chances that he becomes president. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, this is this so I think that Powell's opening statement, the way that this normally goes is that at 6:45 Powell's opening statement will be released to everybody. And yeah. so we'll have that at least. But you might so at 6:45 you might see a move, and then after that we'll go back into incredibly random action because they'll be able to ask him questions. So that's always kind of difficult trading. I think that we should be minimum risk. Oh, do you think there could be change in policy in tomorrow's minutes? Oh, tomorrow's minutes. Let's see here. We're talking about, yes, the meeting minutes that are released tomorrow. Well, I don't know. I think that if there was anything in that ends up being quote unquote change in policy, that Powell will probably reflect that in his comments today. But either way, I think that you have a pretty good trading opportunity tomorrow. I suspect that if we see anything, that it is going to be negative. Like they might say something like, what might they say? By the way, Uzi says ZB is in a nice past value area sandwich upside targets 155, 14, 18, and downside 16 and 11. Usually they confirm what was released in the last FOMC, but since we have these speeches, yeah. And whenever he speaks to Congress, I mean, like so let me the meeting minutes first, right? I think that the most likely thing that we're going to read out of the meeting minutes is they'll say something like, well, the fundamentals and the lack of inflation justify a single rate decrease right now, and then we'll look and see, right? And the suggestion is going to be basically that maybe we get another cut later this year, maybe. There were some people that were saying they were pricing in 3 rate cuts, right? So they'll say maybe we might get one. So I think that the market will come down on its predictions and say maybe we only just get this one. That's probably what I think they're going to say. Okay, we are buying the treasuries. Something that they might do that is a lot less likely, but I suppose is within the range of possibilities, is they could say, well, we're not so sure that there's any reason for there to be a rate decrease. Everything seems fine. That would really upset the market. But those are kind of like the downside risks. On the upside, they might say, yeah, we're going to decrease it, and hey, maybe we'll do it 2 or 3 times. I don't know. Now for Powell, it's a little bit different because one, he can reflect all of those things that happened in the last FOMC that we don't really know the details about. But there's kind of 2 other issues that are going on. One is the Fed's independence from Donald Trump, and he's going to have to assert the Federal Reserve's independence from the president. Say that, well, we want to make him happy, but we do what the market, this don't look right. There we go. We do what the market says, what the mind, come here. All right. He'll say, we do what the numbers dictate our policy should do based on our strategy. Right. But then the other thing is there's this question like, is the market now dictating Federal Reserve policy? Like, they throw a fit, so now the Federal Reserve has to cut, even though all of the numbers say that everything's fine. So that's another question that I think that he is probably going to have to address. So that's what I think we could see in his comments today. Now, I'm not quite sure why they started moving up all of a sudden. I do see a little bit of a move in the currencies. But if I had to just place like a swing, betting on what Powell is going to say, I would be betting short. Because he has been hawkish, and he's going to likely to assert his independence from Donald Trump and from the markets. And that means that he's going to be more hawkish. And so I think that the likelihood is his comments are going to push the markets down. But that is like a complete guess. And, the chances that you get that one right are literally 50-50. I was blown away by the statements of that guy. He actually thinks high rates cause inflation. From who? Oh, Ed Rogan. Really? Oh man, well that reminds me of some of the stuff that the modern monetary theory people say. Because the modern monetary people say that taking on debt is good and keeps the rates low. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Anytime that the government takes out significantly more debt, the treasuries sell because that's more supply on the market. Makes rates more expensive. And what you're basically doing is artificially keeping rates low. Like let's be honest here. Think about it this way. What if there was no Federal Reserve? What if there was no Federal Reserve and interest rates just did what they wanted to? We would be a lot higher. A lot higher. We're here because the Federal Reserve sets interest rates. He fired his Fed chairman for having high rates, which, according to him, causes inflation. Yeah. Okay. Well, nope. But of course, he's lying. I mean, I don't think he actually believes that. He must be lying. Yeah? He doesn't like high rates because low rates increase economic activity. The new hysteria rate cut rationalizing. So Zero Hedge in the past few days has gone all in on this idea that we really shouldn't be cutting rates right now. Even though it was everywhere, one of the primary things that struck me about the peak period for reflation number 3 was how ridiculous it got. If you had a strong argument, there's no need for such hyperbole, but it wasn't that. It had just become openly ridiculous. Interest rates had nowhere to go but up. They said, fine, it was always possible, but inflation, we were repeatedly told, it was the only outcome, the definite product of skillful monetary handling, leading to a biblically tight labor market, and to prove it, there would be no data to just the strongest possible wording. There was scarcely a day that didn't go by without some anecdotal story of the labor shortage. As if it had been real, there wouldn't have been any need for them. And I'm not sure where he's going with this. Therefore, if you really understood what was happening, what officials, economists, and especially bond kings were actually saying wasn't that an inflationary breakout was occurring right then. It was going to happen at some point much longer, even at its height. It was always a future property. That's why the anecdotes and stories about a labor shortage were absolutely certainly guaranteed eventually to lead to the data backing them up, except for you got the sense that they were trying a little too hard to make the case. Yeah, he lost me. I'm not going to finish reading that. Maybe later. Are we watching, pal? Well, so if he can, if I get a link here, oh, here's a live squawk link. Oh, that's right. He's not talking to Congress today, is he? That's tomorrow. Well, I'll put it on here. I'm tuned in. Here's the link in Discord. The conference is on stress testing, so we might not actually get. Let me double check the news here. Tuesday, Chairman Powell speaks due to deliver opening remarks at an event hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Audience questions are expected. Now, my earlier comments was assuming that this was him talking to Congress. I guess he talks to Congress on Thursday. No, Wednesday and Thursday. So, Maybe we don't, this could just be nothing. I do see I could potentially short the E-mini here. I'm a little few ticks off, but probably for that one, best to wait until after the news. I'll move this over here. White House advisor Kudlow wants the US dollar to be steady, strong, and reliable. Trump is concerned about other currencies being too weak. Is that perhaps why we moved? I don't really see the other currencies doing anything. Five-year came back there fast. So I think that it was close, but no cookie. Russia's Putin says he's against imposing Russian sanctions against Georgia. That's good, I guess. Those 5K at 08 half brought ZN higher before. Yeah, that's a good point. Rather, it showed up when they bought it up. Although I find it odd that somebody would be willing to eat that much liquidity at a time like this. See anything in the 5? Look at the two big orders at 17 and 17 quarter in the 5-year. That looks significant to me. And you've got this big one underneath us at 23 that moved around. One that was above it. So is somebody must be doing a spread of some sort. When that all happened, did the spread move? Actually, it did a little bit in the knob. Probably if I had one up that showed the 5 and 30, then I would probably see it more strongly. Okay, they're starting.
I'm a senior associate director in the Division of Financial Stability.
Do you believe that they're going to go down? I mean, I think that there's a good chance, but I wouldn't actually be in here unless you already had some profit baked in.
I will be popping up on stage occasionally today to introduce our speakers and our 3 sure-to-be lively panel discussions. First, I've been tasked
Yes, looks anxious to move
around today's program and the related interactions. We're on TV. All proceedings are on the record, including all speakers and questions and comments that are recognized by the session moderator. On the other hand, all the informal conversations and comments during the
I don't know what I'm having for lunch.
receptions, meals, and coffee breaks are off the record unless otherwise established as such. If you wish for a conversation to be on the record, you should establish the ground rules with the participants. By attending this conference, you consent to be photographed, video recorded, and audio recorded by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Seems like everybody's staying. So, to get things started, I'd like to introduce Lisa Rue. Lisa is a Senior Associate Director in the Division of Banking Supervision and Regulation, where she oversees the cross-portfolio supervision function that includes the Federal Reserve Supervisory Stress Test Program, Risk Identification and Analysis, Shared National Credit Program, and Business Technology Risk. Lisa chairs the Model Oversight Group and is also a member of the LISC Operating Committee. Please welcome Lisa to the stage.
Thanks, Bill. I'm hoping this picture will go away at some point. And I think somebody pointed out I look very relaxed in this picture is because it was taken before I actually started working on stress testing and first joined the Fed, and that explains my relaxed mode. Good morning. I am, as Bill just introduced me, I'm Lisa Ryu. I'm speaking today as a co-chair of the conference organizing committee, along with Bill Bassett, who introduced me. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome everyone to this conference. It is aptly titled Stress Testing, a Discussion and Review. We owe many thanks to President Rosengren and staff at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston for hosting this conference. So before I actually go into my prepared remark, which is always dangerous zone when I started.
I mean, I say that I'm bearish, but like that's like very, that's like a guess, right? There's absolutely nothing in the action that would indicate any direction to me right now.
What led me to be involved and the stress testing, among many other things I could have been doing. And then I concluded that perhaps being a near lifetime fan of New York Mets may have something to do with it. So let me explain what
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
I only watch what's happening now, and as of now, we're in the middle of range between 11 and 6. Hard to tell.
Statement, and I
Yeah.
thought I told her not to talk about sports and all those things. But so let me see if I can bring it back.
Well, my thing is we are above the regular session open, and that's the only thing that I can really read.
A potential stress scenario, however it's remote. See how the bank.
There was a buy, came back.
To the stress. We Mets fans, however, know bad things will happen, regardless of whether you start the season with 4 great starting pitchers, one of whom happened to be former Cy Young winner, or not. Something will always go wrong.
Okay, so I think that his comments are out because I see people.
So I'm thinking that
I see people tweeting. Live Squawk says Fed Chair Powell does not comment on monetary policy in prepared remarks.
Stress tester here at the Federal Reserve.
So I'm just going to make this really soft. Move her over here.
Stress testing, as we know it today, to publicly gauge the resilience of the.
We'll copy that tweet.
In the United States, much has changed since then, as we are all aware. The banking sector is much.
I just set reference points to look for opportunity, and some of those reference points are dynamic as the day develops. Yeah. Well, the E-minis was wanted to sell there, and I wonder if they were thinking that maybe the chairman was going to say something bearish. Moved on very little volume. Maybe that could continue. But if it does continue, I don't think that it's based off of anything. It's just, moving to move because they wanted to move, even though the reason that they did it turned out to be nothing. Cudlow says U.S. team has asked repeatedly for change in Chinese laws, but resistance mounted on the other side. So they could be reacting to Cudlow as well.
Foreshadow some of the discussions to come today. Those discussions include, is the stress testing an effective policy tool for all times, not only during the crisis, but also during peacetime?
Trump been tweeting over the past couple of hours? Yeah. Well, let's see here. The last tweet that he said was about India has long had a field day putting tariffs on American products, no longer acceptable. That was 4 minutes ago. I swear his tweets read like messages from my 93-year-old grandmother, yeah. He's got a really weird style. I mean, it's clearly designed for Twitter. It seems pretty clear to me that the vast majority of his communication with the public has been through Twitter. And so he has a way of writing sentences. Look at the way that I tweet. I don't tweet every day, but when I do tweet something other than, the stream link, I actually tend to write long sentences and usually does not fit within Twitter. And so my tweets kind of end up being kind of weird. And I think they don't really pick up steam on Twitter because I just haven't quite figured out how to deal with that. Trump, India tariffs on American products no longer acceptable. Anyways, 08.5 was the open. It's a real boomer, has a distinct style and text.
idiosyncratic risk the banks face should be captured.
So is this person just introducing Powell?
The Federal Reserve has incrementally increased
Or is she giving a full speech?
its stress testing. In past few years, we have held
Tick up.
something called a stress testing model symposium here
So there was some spoofing on that one.
where the industry representatives and regulators could come together to discuss
That's odd.
Earlier this year, we published a little bit more details about our stress test, but not full details.
Initial balance being rejected again.
Many responded positively about certain.
Oh, you know what? I just was remembering. I wanted to check my indicator here. I have this thing,
Too far, and we shouldn't go.
IB opening range.
And others, however, asked for
Opening range, open start,
and a few even requesting
pre-session. I guess I would have to add a second indicator to be able to show that.
inventory is still out. And hopefully
But I think that I could do.
discussion we'll have.
Well, you know, it's easy enough for me to look. See, here was 16, 17 was way up here. I can see E-mini moving up a little bit now. So I'm glad I didn't follow with that one, because it did reverse.
So let me just go over eight groups of people who are attending today's conference. They're academics, banking analysts, they are bankers, they're representatives of community development and public interest groups, congressional staffers somewhere here in the audience.
So here in ZN, the initial balance would have to be 16 to 17.
Also area students.
It'd have to be at 13, right?
Marty's hope today is that the student attending today's conference will be so inspired by today's event
And in ZB, it would be
public service for their future career. Always hope.
05. Well, they bounced right off of it. They put to the tick in ZB.
Experiences and perspective that should enrich the discussion.
Notice though, look at my Vista charts here. You see this right here?
Stress testing in the
This following it, and then there's a one above it in the 5-year.
some bring an academic rigor and analytical rigor. The whole
Some spreading is happening.
and others bring various empirical perspectives from the banking industry, the investment community, and finally, the public. We are particularly indebted to authors and co-authors.
Pretty hard for me to decipher what it means,
The three broad questions
but
posed. I very much look forward to open and active discussions among the distinguished.
we are a few ticks higher.
To the audience, following the footsteps of a long and fruitful tradition in policymaking. Finally, I cannot possibly close my remark without giving some shout-outs
It's a pretty nasty risk-reward area here.
and dedicated colleagues around the Federal Reserve System who have made the stress testing.
Actually, it says that I can take 10.
And finally, to Tim Watkins, who's over there, without whom we could not have this conference today. And thank you, and I look forward.
Spreader, great, right? Well, the spreader is always good, actually. Spreader means that there's a higher probability of getting a real move. But it can be difficult to decipher which way that move is going to be.
Kicking off today's program, and I guess you could say that 4 World Series later, bringing up the Mets in the city is much less of a stress test. Our next speaker really needs no introduction for this group. Federal Reserve and FOMC Chair Jay Powell has served on the Board of Governors since May 2012. He began his current 4-year term as the chair in February 2018.
No time limit on talks with China, says Kudlow.
He was a visiting scholar at the Bipartisan Policy Center, a partner at the Carlyle Group, an assistant secretary and undersecretary of the Treasury under
I always thought they only bring chop.
Unfortunately, Chair Powell could not be here.
So this particular one is a little bit different, And I don't see this. This is a relatively new phenomenon. Oh, he has pre-prepared remarks. Look, it's like pre-recorded. Boo. Anyways, so ignore this thing for now. Let's say that we're moving around and I saw a huge iceberg at 10 and a huge iceberg at 18.5. And both were getting filled at the same time, and I could see the icebergs happening at the same time. If you see that, high probability of a move. Difficult to decipher which way it's going to go, but within the next 30 minutes, there's a high probability that you're going to get a trend of 4 ticks or more. He has a busy day trying to do damage control for the Epstein fallout. When will Germany blame Mario Draghi for killing Deutsche Bank with NIRP? Secretary Ross, we will issue licenses to company to sell products to Huawei when there is no national security threat. Bravo, sir, bravo.
Which has served to institutionalize capital planning by firms and supervision by the Fed as a forward-looking endeavor. Since 2009, large banks have added more than $800 billion in common equity capital.
Okay, well, they fill that.
Thicker cushion to deal with losses. Banks have gotten much better at assessing and managing their risks, effectively tracking commitments across their organizations, anticipating capital needs, and planning for different scenarios. The stress tests of the future, 5 and 10 years from now, will need to continue to ensure that banks remain able, even in a severe downturn, to provide the credit that households and businesses depend on. As financial institutions and the financial system evolve, stress testing will need to keep up.
It's a message about stress testing.
So financial instability presents itself. It may
They're gonna move up.
messy and unexpected way.
Do it. Nope, he pulled, but they didn't go.
But for unexpected ones. Thus,
So 5 years not holding it quite yet. 5 year appears to be driving it.
If the stress tests do not evolve, they risk becoming a compliance exercise, breeding complacency from both supervisors and banks. We might also inadvertently encourage the development of a banking system where, over time, all banks would look much alike, rather than the banking system we want and need, one with diverse institutions with different business models.
Well, I don't want to listen to him anymore. It's like distracting me and he's not saying anything important. He's just disrupting my thoughts. I mean, I liked what I was seeing there at 10.5, but then they didn't actually go. That's not incredibly encouraging. I'm noticing, we're still getting this kind of like, E-mini is maybe following Treasuries, which I don't like. Why would Powell have anything to do with the Epstein thing? So I was watching this on Reddit yesterday. I had a pretty heavily downvoted comment the other day because r/politics was posting articles all day trying to link the Epstein fiasco to Donald Trump. And I'm just like, this is crazy. There's literally no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence that would be admissible in a court of law that says that Donald Trump knows anything about this. And yet, that subreddit is absolutely convinced that the hammer is about to fall. It's the hammer is about to. I know it's a joke, but I'm just saying. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on right now about like internet rumor about the Epstein. It is literally Pizzagate all over again. And I was like, you guys don't have any evidence, and he's like, yeah, but Donald Trump did know him, and he did take his plane one time, and I'm like, the circumstantial evidence doesn't mean anything. And people were like downvoting me like massive big time over it too. This world, it's crazy. The mass hysteria, it's a real thing, folks. It's a real thing, and social media is like pumping it up every day, and it's scary to me. I do believe that there's an ounce of truth to Pizzagate. Well, there is an ounce of truth to Pizzagate in that there appears to be child prostitution rings in the United States that involve people of power. That I would say is true. To me, maybe this is just my definition, but my definition of Pizzagate is that there is a pizza parlor in DC that is the main outlet for child prostitution in DC. That to me is Pizzagate. And there's no evidence for that. But are there people of power involved in child prostitution? Yes, there is. We know there is because people in the UK were prosecuted for that. Remember that? I think everybody forgets about that whole thing. Anyways, it's just kind of mass hysteria. There's a better mass hysteria to talk about right now, though, right? Do you know what the other mass hysteria going around social media is? You can take a guess. Checking Twitter here. I do not view the U.S. budget deficit as a big problem. Okay. Well, it's not a big problem right now, I suppose. Just a little, though. Is it what Lucas is going to have for lunch? No, that is an important question that I think we need to have some, a conference about. But it's not a mass hysteria. That's serious, mealtime policy decisions. Serious stuff. Is it Bitcoin? No, I wish. If only the mass hysteria floating around Facebook could be garlic coin is going to the moon, man. Oh, that would make me so happy. No. So you're gonna die when I get you. You're gonna be like, oh, it's the Little Mermaid thing. Have you seen this Little Mermaid thing going around? Oh my gosh, it is. People are going crazy over this thing. They're going nuts. I've been trolling people a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I've been trolling people a little bit with it. So if you're not familiar, or you're watching the future and you want to be double sure what we're talking about, maybe stuff has happened. I quit Facebook, so I'm out of the loop with high school girl drama. No. So Disney is remaking The Little Mermaid, and the actor that was chosen to play Ariel is a black girl. So people are upset that, well, I'm not even sure upset is the right word, but there is controversy over the fact that The Little Mermaid is not going to be played by a ginger. Now, I mean, you have to expect it, right? Anytime that you remake a work of art, there are going to be people that have, emotional and cultural attachments to that character. And if they identify with that character, then when they change the thing that they identify with that character with, they're going to be at the very least disappointed, that the change was made, right? This is just normal human behavior, right? But social media has basically turned this into, if you don't think this is the greatest casting decision ever, you're racist. So everybody on my Facebook is going on about whether this is racist or not. And some people are saying, well, gingers are a minority too. It's racist to take one of the few, roles for redheads and give it to somebody else. All I want to know, serious, like, look at these pictures. Where's one of these pictures? Do I have one? Look at this. Look at this. These are all comic book characters that were redheads, that when they played them in the movies, they made them a black person. Is that crazy how many there are? I'm like, why does Hollywood hate gingers? I don't understand. So I said that, and somebody else said, well, you know that black people can have red hair too. I didn't know that, but I went and researched it. Apparently black people can have red hair, but it is a different gene. So red hair in black people is due to partial albinism, and that's what causes it. Whereas in white people, it's a mutation in the melanin. I'm with young Ripa 59 on this topic. Hollywood and comics tokenizing characters, giving black folks white hand-me-downs instead of creating new characters or using existing. Yeah, no, totally. Like it would be better to create new stories. I think everybody wants new stories, right? I think everybody wants new stories. I mean, to be fair, they used an American actress to play the main character in Ghost in the Shell. Oh man, I remember when they did. Do you remember when they did Dragon Ball Z and Goku was played by a white guy? That people were so mad about that one. So mad. But it is. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it's immoral. I'm just saying that it's pretty much, you have to expect that if you change something about a character that people identify with, that they're going to be disappointed or upset or possibly outraged that you changed the character. I'm not saying that it's immoral to change the character. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying if you're an artist or director or whatever, and you're going to make a change like that, you got to consider it. Personally, I wouldn't recommend doing it. If you want to have a black character, write a new story with a black character, When they make white characters black, they do it for self-loving white leftists, not black audiences. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't it seems to me like there's like anti-ginger sentiment in Hollywood. That's what it seems like to me. So somebody said no. The reason that the actor that was chosen for The Little Mermaid is black is because they did auditions and the actor that did the best job happened to be black. That's what they're saying. And so then I'm like, oh, so now you're saying that redheads aren't good actors? Is that what we're saying? Okay, that was a kind of an interesting iceberg because there was quite a bit of volume that just kind of spilled over there. There was almost 7K trying to hold it down, but they're probably going to go higher. That was a pretty strong amount of market orders that just flooded in there. There's a litany of black stories and characters Hollywood's and media could produce, but they neglect them. So white, yeah, okay. You might have a good point. But still that doesn't explain it. Like, okay, sure. There can be like, what do they call it? Blackwashing characters. But why is it always the redhead? Why is it always the redhead? I don't understand. The only reasonable theory that I can come up with is that Hollywood wants to get rid of gingers. That's the only conclusion that I can make. They want to breed them out of existence. The ginger gene, it's a weak gene. We need to get rid of it. That's what they must be thinking. This is the only reasonable explanation. Because why is it always the redhead? Uzi says, I don't know. I'm telling you, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to me that it's always the redhead. But anyways, so it is literally, though, a mass hysteria. So now all of the people on my Facebook feed are being like, It's by the end of the week, it's literally going to be like white people cannot post pictures from mermaids anymore. like that's how bad this is getting. It's getting ridiculous. And Lucas is like, what? And then there was a Facebook group. So now everybody is going around saying there's a Facebook group called Christians Against the Little Mermaid. And everybody was sharing this Facebook group. It turns out that the Facebook group was actually a different group called Caring and Loving People. And then they changed after it had been around for 2 years and it had gained like 40,000 people. Then they changed the name of the group. Yeah. And then they took pictures of it and were going around, but it was completely fake. And so there's all of these people that think that there is this huge flood of racism sweeping the country because of the Little Mermaid. It's not a thing. Nobody thinks that nobody thinks this for racist reasons. They don't like seeing identifying attributes about characters being changed. Aren't redheads a minority? Well, it's kind of a weird thing because redheads aren't really like a race per se, right? It's just a hair type, but it's only like 4% of the population or something like that. So in that respect, they are absolutely a minority. ZB wants to go higher. Well, so far they are holding that 11 that there was the big iceberg at, but they're not pushing 11.5 yet for whatever reason. Maybe the market maker is leaving 11 filled like that because they're trying to reduce their position or something like that because they got caught on the wrong side of that. The E-minis did have, there was that move up and then they kind of came back down. High or low, but it's still incredibly uncertain which direction it's going to go, and it's already 713. There's no such thing as... You can get in trouble for talking about this. There's no such thing as white minorities and leftist ideology. No. That's not true, Izzy. That is not what intersectionality dictates, okay? If you're a redhead, that's a mark, but it's not that's like a feather or whatever. Like that's an oppression feather in your cap, but it's not as big of an oppression feather as if you are black or especially if you're Muslim. Okay? And then, if you're gay, that's a feather. And all of these other things. And then if you're a woman, that's a feather. And then, you add all of your feathers together to decide who is chief oppressed in that particular conversation. To be a leftist white dude in the Congo wouldn't be a minority. Well, that reminds me of when we were seeing stories about white farmers in South Africa basically being murdered because they were white. And it seems like that they were just a few isolated incidents, but it was enough for it to be a thing. And everybody was like denying that it was even happening. It's like, are you kidding me, guys? Like, here's the news reports. It's absolutely happening. They completely deny it. Oh, that's fake news. No, it happened. It totally happened. It's maybe, okay, so they took that one pretty aggressively too. That normally that might, oh sure, we're not allowed to talk about that. I know. Facebook finds out because Facebook doesn't want anybody to know, guys. So be quiet about it. Well, if anything happens to me, if this channel gets what is the word, censored, it's going to be because of Andrew Yang, right? So you guys, after this stream, go in my video from yesterday. Okay, that one goes too. Man. Okay. Don't want to ruin your social credit score. Oh, man, come on. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I was just remembering. I want to do that. I was just remembering last time this situation happened to me. I said I should have done X, and so I want to. I want to try it this time. Your social credit score, man. So, what was I saying? Oh no. So this video that I posted yesterday, about Andrew Yang. So I think the way that it works is like if you're an Andrew Yang fan, you've probably searched for him on YouTube before, and so you get videos about Andrew Yang. And so if I make a video about Andrew Yang did poorly at the debate, the vast majority of the people that get that video recommended in their feed are people that are, running around trolling videos about Andrew Yang. So they're all Andrew Yang fans. And I don't want to make too big of a generalization about people based just on YouTube comments. Okay, so keep that in mind that we're just basing this off of YouTube comments. But just based off of the YouTube comments, these are not the brightest people. Some of the comments that were in that thread were just absolutely crazy. Well, now they're getting kind of quiet again. I kind of wonder. I don't see any new news. They're still just talking about India. That was a really odd. That was an unusually strong trend. And I do think, based on the context and everything, that I want to take it off somewhere around here. But that was just a much stronger trend than I would have expected to see on a day like this. Don't you think? That was kind of weird. Well, remember I said anytime that you get those spreaders come in, you'll see trends. Do you believe me now? Xian just bouncing off the IB low. You're right. 13.5 was the IB low. What about the 5-year? Because I think the 5-year might have been one of the key drivers of that, because they didn't take levels until the 5-year was ready to take levels. So their IB was, basically the open, it was 20. 19 3/4 and 20. So they are profit taking right off of that. Kudlow, US-China call this week will be followed by an in-person meeting. Oh, that's good. UB actually went first? Yeah, I don't know. Just the way that I look at it is like, if UB is clearly moving a lot faster and further, then they're often the driver. But if I see it where it's like, okay, ZN wants to tick up, but nobody seems to be hitting it. It doesn't seem to be getting hit. And then I look over at ZF and I can see, oh, well, ZF isn't about to tick up anytime soon. Then my read on that is, okay, the 5-year is the leader right now, and there's no reason for the 10-year to buy it if the 5-year isn't about ready to tick up. Right? And you can see the same kind of behavior in ZB, where it'll be like, But it can be different in ZB because they can just take, like there's 466 right there. They could just take that at any time, and then all of a sudden they're going. But I don't think that's what's happening. I'm not seeing a change in the spreads yet, but there is I think that was definitely caused by a spreader. Yeah, it's also bouncing off of the IP low. I witnessed this environment from the front row in 2008 as a trader at Lehman Brothers. Well, I don't know if I would trust you then. One of two sources says Horowitz investigators appear to have found Steele's information sufficiently credible to have extended the investigation. What does that mean? Quite a bit of absorption at all these prices. They might be reloading to go up to go again. Well, do we see many levels up above us? Not much beyond the 14. Completion date is unclear. So I guess they're saying that the result of the Horowitz investigation may be that it was totally justified to get the FISA warrant. The E-mini fell down there a little bit, and there was actually buying as it was happening. Too close to the open to take a trade. EU in talks to move forward on trade agreement. There's a really big iceberg at 12. I'm guessing, though, the market maker that sold at 11 probably was really unhappy with that and wanted out. That might be what that is. Big sell in ZB2. Pretty big iceberg. If they tick up at 12.5, that could cause a little bit of... that could upset a few people. The cumulative delta in the equities continues to be long by about 1,000 contracts. Actually, I think that's somewhat unusually high volume for pre-market, but it's moving down. And it's moving the opposite direction from Treasuries. Treasuries moved up as equities were falling. I was reading on some forum how if you state in your LinkedIn account that you are a professional trader, your broker finds about it and charges you pro commissions as well as delaying your data feed. I never heard that. I thought that to be a professional trader, you had to be like registered and stuff. I probably wouldn't put on my LinkedIn. Have you guys found a lot of trading on? Because every time that I go in there, I find groups, but it's kind of like it doesn't seem like not a whole lot going on over there. It seems like there's way more activity in the Facebook groups, but man, going into the Facebook groups is sometimes really disheartening. Because some of those people seem so clueless, but then you see a bunch of people that are always posting like, "Oh, I made 8 points today on the ES," and I'm like, I don't think that you're actually doing that as well as you actually claim. This is like a bunch of people lying, and then a bunch of people that literally have no clue what they're doing. Successful independent traders want to stay private. Yeah, I would say for the most part. I don't think that really successful traders are running around saying, "Oh, look at me." Unless they were successful for a while and now they're kind of done with it and they want to go into education. I mean that could be legitimate, but not while they're doing it. Because they're always gonna be paranoid. I mean, I'm paranoid about it. I feel like sometimes the market hunts me. Even though I know that it's silly, but I just can't shake the feeling. It's like it's there. It's just a part of the psychology for some reason or another. 2 minutes. There was a little bit of selling there in the E-mini, but they just pushed back. The Exchange Defiance Pro is managing other people's money, not being successful. There you go. I am not a professional. I just happen to be the one guy out there crazy enough to sit and do this live. Actually, I'm not the only person now. When I started doing this, there was literally nobody on YouTube. Now, every once in a while, I'll go and I'll search, and there's some people on YouTube. There's actually a couple of people that actually have really big channels, like into the tens of thousands. But they're almost always doing equities, and they will cherry pick. So like, I think that another rush might be coming, guys. You see that right there in the 5-year? We're buying into 19 3/4. Anyways, they'll be equity traders, and if they happen to catch a good one, then that's what they save and they show as their video for that day. But they don't show everything live. And almost never futures. There's a few guys that are doing futures, but they're very small channels. And I try and support them. I really do. Like, I've subscribed to some of them. You can go and look in the YouTube in the subscribers and you can try and help them out. But probably what I'm doing here is probably foolish. I find it really useful, so I don't know. Okay, here's the yes. So not a huge open yet. First impulse was short. It was pretty short-lived. I suspect that the E-mini may make a test of the overnight lows just based on the treasuries having pushed up in the way that they have. But they may have pushed up the way that they have because of spreading. I'm noticing that ZNZF has gone up and ZN, the knob, has gone down. So that would tend to suggest that there's a spread between the 30 and the 5. And I don't have that one up on my charts, and I'm too lazy to go and put it on there. But I think that that's what's happening, is there's a spread going on there. So the move up in treasuries might be because of that, and unrelated. ES might not care. Well, they did try short, and they did not get much out of it, and the move has been long the whole way. Okay. And treasuries lose 12. So when I took that trade, I've seen this before. I saw at 12.5 it go down, and so that's why I put the order in originally. But I've had so many times where I've taken that profit and there was 1 or 2 more left in it. So I said I want to wait for 1 or 2 more, but it's probably been way too long now at this point. So I wish I was out, but now here, ever since then, they haven't really given me a very clear out. Okay, well, they seem to be buying the E-minis pretty aggressively at the moment. I mean, is this going to come all the way back in ZN? Oh, now 11's going too. Yep. Well, seeing that inverse correlation, I think, is a good sign, at least. The question, though, is the E-mini is still at significant resistance levels now. I mean, that 27, 29, 71 is pretty significant, and then 73.25 or so. So, it's never going to be exact in ES, but I think they're kind of in an area where you could potentially turn. So, I'm not necessarily excited to buy into this. Except that came back really quickly, didn't it? Well, I'm just going to let this one sit because, I did the experiment. It didn't work out, but I know what to do, and we'll try it again and see. Try and figure out when it can go for more and when it won't. I just kind of want to let it do its thing and see what happens. No, I think that they're going to take out the 09. Yep, that sucks. Signs for a few days, but not definitive. Seems really turning this week. So there was a little bit of sell volume came in there in the ES, and then they came up again. Oh, Uzi says I can't believe I missed that. Oh man. Yeah, it feels like that if we didn't get out when all of the volume was distributing up here, you were basically stuck for the ride, you know? Or you'd have to mark it out. Of course, I could have marked that out, but I wanted to see what it did. Foolish me. Kind of foolish, but I didn't take it very seriously, honestly. I still got my eye on ES here. Kind of watching over here to see if I see the Treasury's trying to push it down. Hmm. Well, there's one thing is that they've gotten pretty good trading. Also, do you notice this order that's been following in the 5-year? It came down. It's following it much more closely now. Do our views ever go above 20? I don't, not lately. It's summer, so there's always a limited number of people watching in the summer anyways. When it's like a really busy day, then we can get up to like 32, but so you got it in the chop at the initial balance, yeah. So one thing that I don't like is that it seems to me like that I don't like about what I'm doing is that it seems to me that the trend overall is down. So if we got a really big move up like that, I should be fading it potentially, right? I'm not getting a clear signal, but ES does appear to be failing here. How come other live streams have hundreds? I guess my stream isn't as entertaining as those other live streams. Why not? Honestly, I mean, look at it. You have your name is super weird, so I'm just going to call you One. But think about it, One. Who wants to sit and watch numbers flash across the screen for hours at a time? It's like watching paint dry. Like honestly, it's really effing boring. You've got to be like really into this to want to sit and watch my stream. These guys that are in here every day, and there's a pretty good consistent group of guys that we got in here. Like Uzi, Lucas, and Wrong that chat every day. Very consistent. But I mean, they're really in it. They're really into it. Oh, don't be saying it's because of summer. Well, I mean, if you're expecting there to be hundreds of people, then I don't think that that's ever going to happen. But it's less than we would be in, active times where we can have, 30 or more. I did have one time when the Bitcoin futures went live and people wanted to come in and watch. And then I think that we got up to like 8,000. But that was a special occasion. Seth happy. I'm feeling a little tense actually because I'm seriously considering flipping on this. Okay. Anyways, what was I going to say? If I had a lot of people watching, we've discussed this before, but if I had like hundreds or thousands of people watching, I would be concerned. Because that would mean that I'm either doing something like faking performance, or being like super, like Jim Cramerish, trying to, pump people up and everything. It wouldn't be the same thing. It wouldn't be, serious, calm, highly analytical trading. Well, that's going good so far. I didn't get like the clear reversal signal in the Treasuries. There was one right there. They're trying to push it up at 09. I seem happy, huh? Well, I'm happy that I got 4 ticks. I'm super happy so far. Usually if I get 4 to 5 ticks, then usually I at least get it break even, so it's pretty rare that I get that much on a trade and then it like completely rips into my face. But well, without first going down and touching like my first target, that is. Oh yeah, I like it. Now I'm definitely happy. Except for that, where my order is at now is kind of in a little, I don't know about that one. So we're going to have to see a new regular session low to get filled. The volume is certainly turning. The cumulative delta is certainly turning. I'm also sitting here thinking, okay, this is where you've got a little bit of profit. You got your first target. Sometimes you like to try and relax, and I should stay focused here. So I'm just kind of watching this to make sure that I'm not seeing it like completely flip here. Okay. That looked like a pullback to me. So anyways, I was thinking, I don't know if our one friend was there anymore, but I'm wondering if he came across our channel because of the Andrew Yang video yesterday. Because I was thinking, well, surely Andrew Yang supporters are going to come in and try and troll us now, right? But so far, I've been disappointed. Nobody has come in, and nobody cares about him. And you guys are just like, whatever. Andrew Yang's crazy. You haven't said anything about the video. So definitely some pullback there. Curious. They were starting to pick up some upside momentum, but they got cut down really quickly. Are they going to get hit below 29.70? I have a time and place on YouTube for politics, not here, not in the mornings. This is freedom time, right? I think, I just think that as, traders and people that understand free markets and economies, oh man, don't like that. I'm sitting here wondering how could I have avoided that one. $1,000 a month would build a trading account faster. You're right. When you're right, you're right. Okay, that's curious. That whole sequence of events was this quite unexpected to me. But they are getting downside momentum again. Pretty strong downside momentum, I'd say. They're trading pretty good volume on it too. They seem to have slowed down right here though. Okay. No? Okay. Well, that was just a little bit too much for me to handle, guys. So I took 15 off of that in the end. Yeah. So that's cool. So yesterday, I'll tell you a story. Yesterday, I was looking at my statement, and yesterday I made $5, right? And I looked at the day, and it was like -10, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what? What? Did I have a position open, or like did I miss? What's wrong? I was like totally freaking out over $10, and then and then I found out that they had charged me the data fee that day. So I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. And now I've paid for the data fee, so there's that. But that higher low at 29.70 kind of freaked me out. I kind of felt it made me extremely uncomfortable. Well, that initial buy up, that made me really uncomfortable too. I showed good restraint by sitting there and waiting for it and letting it come back down, but then it came back down and it didn't make a lower low. I was like, okay, it's time to get out. So what do you guys think? Think that I did an okay job there on that one? Adrian, how much is your data feed cost? Is it $10? No, it's 15. No, yeah, no, it's 15. Because they took 15 off, and then I made 5 yesterday, and so the net yesterday was -10. I was confused because I didn't know that they did. I thought that they did that at like the first day of the month, not the 8th or 9th. Is like, why? They might make a new high here. We'll see. Right now, it kind of looks to me like an ascending triangle. And since that trade was a very counter trend trade, I really shouldn't be trying to let it ride, Because if I had kept that trade, I'd be nothing right now. And just reading Dojo's comment again about $1,000 a month would build my trading account faster. So I'm wondering, what is he says that it would generate X $1,000. Where's his numbers? I want to do some math on his numbers. Let's go to his website. Andrew Yang, our vision policies, universal basic income. Well, I remember the one guy said 3.2 trillion, right? Total population. $232 million. So, if we say there is 3.2 trillion, so that's billion, million, thousand, 100, right? 100,000 million. Oops. There. 100,000 million, billion, trillion. $3.2 trillion that his VAT tax would raise, divided by, there are 232 million people. Okay. So his VAT tax, he claims, is going to make $13,000 on average per person. And you're going to get $1,000 back from it. Now, the way that he's putting it, clearly that would have to fall more on upper income people. But I'm kind of wonder, what would the average person actually pay? So I'm only counting adults. There's 232 million adults over the age of 18 in the United States. Only a third of the population are children. So now let's do a different comparison. That's just average, but we know that not everybody would pay the VAT tax equally. Europe average VAT tax per year. What would we search for? %20 in France? Tax burden of typical youth workers in the EU. Only goes to people, so. What did we think of Trump and the airport speech? So I watched that event live, but I didn't watch the whole thing. And I don't remember that particular part of the speech, so maybe I missed it. But reading about it afterwards, it sounds like his speech was talking about the ramparts, and he said airports. So he misread the teleprompter. It's a common thing to happen. I mean, Obama did it. So I find it kind of funny that some people, I mean, yeah, it's something that happens. It's news to report. It's good clickbait and everything, like it's a good incidental story. But some people are super concerned about this. They think this is a big deal. Listen, if you think this is a big deal, you need to get off the internet for a few days. Okay, that it's warping your mind if you think that him saying airports instead of ramparts is a big deal. But I don't know. USA spending.gov? Is that their calculator thing? Yeah, that's how much the government spends. Anyways, okay, this one. Oh, where was it? Okay. On average, respite for workers, noteworthy gap between flat tax and progressive tax countries. Cost to employer. I don't see anything about a VAT tax. And that's like, I only get one page of results for that search too. Well, the E-mini is just kind of going sideways here. I'm noticing a little bit of a drop off in volume. Treasuries are still a little elevated and above the open. I mean, what do you think about selling the value high as an entry? So that's a good question for you, Uzi. So you've talked about taking trades off at the value high and value low, but what do you think about taking entries in those locations? I'm wondering. Let's see, that 72.50 is a pretty good spot for it to start, but there's no telling if it's going to go up or down. I can't tell. I think I should just be happy with $15. Even though I could have gotten probably 25. I think entries or exits at those points are reasonable if the order flow calls for it. I gotcha. That's kind of what I thought you would say, but I'm really thinking about taking it at 29.71.75, but I don't know if I can get a read on the order flow clearly enough to do that. I mean, there was right there they were taking it and it got shoved away. Like they shoved it away. Yep. Order flow has the tendency to have you looking at every price for a chance to get in or out, and this is a headache and it makes you make, oh yeah. No, I totally understand that. Like that's where I think like in treasuries, I know. I just kind of know based on how many it's taken where it's gonna start and stop and things like that. Like I know that because the open was around this 08.5 area, that there's gonna be some wrangling around of things down here, right? Maybe they reverse here, maybe they push lower. Starting to think that they might push lower, but I don't know. Over here in E-mini, it's just I don't know, I can't tell. Sure look like they want to buy up though. I don't speak of them biblically, just areas where my spidey sense picks up, right? And see, here's one where like, I don't know, at least right now in this kind of a context, because it's not like there's tons of big news pushing the markets right now, you know? So like, based on the order flow that we're having here, I think there's a pretty good chance that they go up and they make a new high now. But should I be buying it there because of that? I don't think that would be a good trade. Initial balance is a good gauge, bullish or bearish bias. Build off that VA, POC, VWAP, highs and lows. Well, and yeah, and that's the other thing is that the initial balance was up at like 94, 95, right? Yep. So that's where I am having a hard time like selling it here. I only did it at the one because it just did it so clearly. But now you can clearly see I took the profit there and it was just balancing. I wish that I had gotten a few more ticks out of it, but I think I did the right thing. And it's unfortunate that I couldn't have maybe have bought it down here and I could be taking it out at 74, 75. Now I have to wait to see what they do at 75. If they bounce off of that one, then maybe I could take it short. If it doesn't, if they go through it, then I might have to wait for a pullback and then try and get along. You're saying that the initial balance is 29.79.50 to 29.76.50. So I want to double check my. I don't have like a thing on here for it, but maybe I should add it. I don't know. So let me add the indicator. It's this one, AMA opening range. And I'm going to select a time zone, the chart time, and it starts at 1600 and it ends at 1700, right? And then this is from 1600. Am I getting that? Yeah, it is. It goes again at 1600. 4 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock Eastern time, right? To 7:30 our time. And then I want to show the pre-session midline. Come over here and look. Make it all big and everything for you guys. Really? There's a mismatch between the session template and the tools. Trading hours. Index futures ETH. Start time is 3:30. So is it 15:30? Spread bro is gone. It looks like it got filled in the 5-year. You see that right there? You got filled. Okay. So let's try 15:30. No, it doesn't like that either. You're moving to that 75 now. Monday. It ends at 3:15 and it starts at 3:30. So then why doesn't my... Oh, that's Central Time. So that's really 2:30 my time. Is it not using the right session? Index futures ETH. Okay. You guys got a bunch of things. I don't have to set the hours and stuff. It's an access aspect of the NinjaTrader 8 volume profile suite on my range. I just disable everything but developing VA, POC, and IB. I got you. Unless I missed trades, I didn't see because the exact entry only watched the market do what I thought it would do 5 or 10 minutes later. The more prices you look for entries at, the more chances you have to lose. Yeah. Well, that's why the way that I tend to, I mean, I do the same thing, Uzi, but I tend to limit it to specific time frames. You notice I tend to take trades at specific times. That's how I limit myself from taking too many. Oh. So maybe I was using the wrong... What is the default template for that? Instruments. ES. Edit. Trading hours, CME, US Index Futures ETH. Oh, that's CBOE. CME, Index Futures ETH. Gotcha. That's why I was getting it wrong. Can you walk me through a simple chart where liquidity from stops would be found? Yeah, hold on a second. Let me finish fixing this chart here. So that's what I was looking at, the CBOT, and I want this one. CME US Index Futures ETH. It's 5 o'clock Central Time, which is 4 o'clock my time, which is 1600. Did I click the wrong thing? There we go. Should be 1600. Or 1700 really for their exchange. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's the. Maybe it's this thing. Pre-session start. What if I get rid of this full period? Yes. Okay. Chart time, 1600 to 730. That's what's wrong. Good. Okay. So, what were we saying? Took a trade yesterday at a level I knew it could hold. It went 2 ticks against me and took the loss 5 minutes later. The same trade was 8 ticks in my favor. Oh, yeah. I would notice that there's a tendency, especially in the summertime, for it to be like, I have a spot, it'll get there, I'll see some order flow, and I'll take it, and then it goes, like I was saying, they tend to go 2 ticks through you or something like that. It's like, even though it's doing the trade, there's like a tendency for more flow to come in and take you a little bit further than normal. Okay, so anyways, back in this chart, we were talking the other day about, you know, that when you get a volume profile like this, according to our good friend, was it Smash the Bids? I forget who it was. Where's my, there it is. This right here, this profile is a B, right? So that is longs getting stopped out. People that went long here getting stopped out. And then, oh look, we continued through, which is unusual, but that means that the trend down is really strong. Kind of means that, to me, I don't really want to buy it. That's why I'm not like super excited about what it's doing right now. Okay. I want trading to be that easy. I really do. You know what? Some of the guys that I've spoken to that have long-term success with a single strategy, their strategies sound dead stupid simple. When you try it, it doesn't work for you, but because you don't understand it as well as they do, but you know, it's always those little nuances. But the general idea is stupid simple. Like, They have two moving averages on your chart, and when they cross, you take it, for 2 ticks or whatever it is. Every price you execute at isn't a guaranteed win, right? Well, worrying about that 3 prices rather than 30 is a bit simpler. Yeah. It's not even like it's not even like saying that you're more likely to get a winner from trading at that location. It's kind of like saying I only want to take so many trades, so I'm only going to take the trades when they're in those locations or when they're in those particular time frames. I'm talking about only if I'm talking about moves that are obvious that I see, but somehow I don't take or mismanage them. Well, yeah, but that's just the way that the market plays with your psychology, right? Like if we see a trade and it looks so obvious like that, very often we don't take it because it seems like it's too obvious, like it's a trick, right? And then when it does work out, you go, oh, duh, but it might have just been random. And the thing is that you're more likely, because remember that because we remember losses more than wins, you're more likely to remember and focus on the one that you didn't take that would have worked. That is selection bias. If you're on a time constraint, so I get that. I don't factor in time until I'm in a position to give it 20 to 30 minutes max for it to begin working. Yes. Well, that's what I tend to do too. Sometimes I break that rule more than I should, though, I think. And I also kind of look at it like when I've been in position for about 10 minutes, if I've been in it for 10 minutes, I should probably still be break even. If it's gone against me for the first 10 minutes, that's usually not a good sign. Well, E-mini is pretty stuck here. I do see the Treasuries trying to buy up again, but it's not really going either. Okay. Couple of steps there might be significant. That's where pulling is usually a good indicator, specifically pulling if I sell a price and offers above me pull, I'm out. Yeah. Well, I've been using this thing with my level 2. It has been really effective. If I'm seeing a lot of level 2 changes at a price, it usually turns into Treasury. That sold back really quickly. And it come back pretty easily. Not as quick, but it came back pretty easily. Like they did not have to trade big numbers to get up there. Now they're trading big numbers. This has been 6 minutes. Throughout the developing day, my most important prices are value high, value, point of control, the initial balance, highs and lows, naked, value high, val, BOC are usually targets from previous days right now. And I'm not going to BS like I've always been trading this way. Y'all know I traded when I first got into Treasuries. This is kind of what it's turned into for me. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was thinking because I've done some back testing with taking the 50% in from the overnight move. I mean, you take the 50% level of that. So like John's bull bear zone. And I've done found some interesting things based off of that, but I should really do it based off of the IB and go and back test that and do statistics on it. Because it does seem like it's been a pretty good level to look at. So here I'm getting some favorable ticks, but it still seems really slow. Well, this candle that I'm on right now looks pretty orange. You can see they're not really gunning for it. Okay, that was a little better. Well, now they're starting to trade a little bit more volume down here. Eight minutes. Feel a little anxious here. Because I've only gotten 3 takes. I've been in about 8 minutes. I remember volume profile being a holy grail in Forex. The reason I learned to code was a group project designed for a profile on MT4. The only problem is data is hot garbage, no volume. Yeah, exactly. So I continue to say, why do people trade Forex? Why? Why would you want to do that? Seems to me like the only reason they do it is because it's cheap. Well, it has now been 10 minutes. Low bar to entry, yeah. Yep. Futures is a lot more difficult to get into, you know? Like, to get a good platform, you have to shell out a little bit of money. It's more money to fund an account, although that's changed recently. You know, you have to consider the commissions in your strategy. Well, I'm not too happy with this trade. Even though I know it's only gone like 4 ticks one way. But like when I look at where I've gotten into in the range and all these other things, I'm risking a new high. Oh, screens. Sorry. Every freaking time, huh? I should just never change it. I should just always bring the charts over here. I mean, I had a little bit of order flow in my favor and everything like that. They are having trouble touching that high. But right now, this trade is just kind of starting to make me feel not good. I guess it's a good practice. Trying to control my emotions here. Okay. Oh, is this live or is this July 5th? No, this is live. I haven't changed it. This today is the 9th. Let's fix it. Well, I wrote myself a little note to check the title every day, and I have it attached to my screen, but then I forget to read the note. That's ADHD for you guys. It's like if you don't put it somewhere externally, you'll just forget. See, I have a list. Here's the things I'm supposed to do. Got to make sure that I move my trade controls to a spot where it doesn't cover things up. And same with the error window, and then change the YouTube date. And when you start, do the disclaimer, say what date it is. I know I also got to remember the subscribe and Patreon links and everything like that. See, do I do that every day? No, I always forget. Well, that one doesn't feel good. You can kind of see Treasuries. They're still trying to make a little bit of a move up. But they seem to be really struggling. See, if I was in ES right now, I'd be conflicted a bit because it's below the initial balance, but that point of control is rising with the price up the move, so it's well supported. Has it actually moved though? Because for the regular session, it's still at 29.70.25. They've developed a little bit of volume at the spot where I took a trade. I don't like this trade. I'm in the wrong spot, right? Here there's two nodes. If I really, really want to be short, I should be short at 29.74.50. There is some icebergs up here doing some stuff. So there's 1,000 on the sell. Treasuries still kind of struggling there. Okay, they did push it down, although I've noticed they have a tendency to try and push back into it. Yep. My poor guess is that test will test the previous point of control. So you're talking about 29.7725, yeah? I think so. I was just looking for, a test of the initial balance and a failure. It doesn't look like I'm getting it, does it? So you can see price being supported. Well, it'd be unusual for them to get there and then not go for a new high, but look at this. This is a pretty pathetic new high right now. How do you define initial balance? 1 hour off the open or using some swings? It's 1 hour. He told us that the other day. See, it's just like, where should I really be puking here? At what point do I give up on it coming back a little bit and just market buy? Other than where my stop is. Fuck. Watch them go and take my stop in turn. Because it's at a pretty convenient price. I did that one wrong. I managed that wrong. I could have gotten out break even. It's a possibility, to be honest, that it turns right there. Right. There was some iceberging there, too. Yep, right on the spot of the previous value, yeah. But it was like, well, I can give you my reasoning right here, right? I saw that we had come up here, we had kind of overextended. I could see that the oscillators were turning negative, so I did that, and I got there. I didn't get a good price, but I got that. I mean, that was okay. Then I was just in it for too long. There are definitely some big orders coming in through here now. I think there's some guys that want to be short here. Treasuries are getting pushed a little lower. Yeah, here's a chance for a live test. Would you be actually trying to take it at 29.7625 though? They did stop at your stop price, yeah. That's happened a lot lately, and that kind of makes you wonder, right? But in that case, it was really just that my spot, my entry was in a really bad location. like Uzi says. My stop was like one tick below the initial balance low. This is a bad spot to have a stop. Okay, so there they went through it. The way that the treasuries are acting is yeah. Well, I didn't see anything too crazy there, so I think that they might pull back a little bit and go higher. There's always a chance buyers can push the initial balance. Not going to say that's impossible, but if you want to sell ES, it's in the zone for an attempt. Just gonna hold my arms and wait for a few minutes. I'd say there's too much volume trading here. I think when I was looking back and it was like, this one doesn't feel very good. I should have just gotten out there. I'm stingy. If I don't get in within that zone, I wouldn't sell it because that's where you get boned hard if the buyers do decide, yeah. But look at what they're going for that 79 for sure. They're pretty likely to try and touch the previous day's point of control within the session. And also it's not like a stop out. It's like pretty equal distribution all through here, which is indicative of trending. And I don't think that they're even going to come back. I don't think that they're going to give me another chance before I got to go, which is unfortunate. Would you call a 10 tick winner a successful week, Izzy? A 10 tick winner in the 30 year? 10 ticks for the entire week. Oh, okay. Yeah, you must be talking about treasuries then. I'd call 2 ticks a successful week. Depends on how many trades you've taken, huh? Wrong spot. Treasuries, I don't know. The treasuries seem to be like when the E-mini is moving up, they're definitely selling, but it's still limited. You don't think it's a good idea to buy in the initial balance? Hmm. So far, I'm not a huge fan of how this has developed on me. My take though is that they've breached this and that they're going to go higher. They just might not want to do it right here. In the long run, you might prove correct, but you might have to suffer for it first, right? I'm feeling the heat right now. You can see the support coming in though. They're fighting over if they're going to do new high or not. I'm not going for a 15 tick winner. Those are just the auto. I'd say though in the E-mini we want to get at least 8, right? That's 10. That first one is 10. Could be worth just 4. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking the way it's developing so far. They're still building volume up here. It's a pretty healthy interest. It's just the price that I got. It's actually a little bit above the point of control for this little section of volume profile. Which basically means they're spending more time below me. What's with the treasuries here? That looks like shenanigans. I think he could sell 9.5. Maybe not. You might. But yeah, I think that you might get a sell here in the treasuries soon. I guess that's all based on the assumption that ES does go and break a new high. So they're doing it. They're kind of pivoting there. In this situation, what works for me is first pull back. Take a small profit if I can. I see. Well, the issue that I think I have right now is that I kind of got it on a pullback, and they're like going sideways here, right? And that was good. Well, going for bigger profits, are you saying that going for more than 4 on ES is going for bigger profits? Because I'm only looking for like the average 30-minute range. That was some good uptrend there. I'm surprised they didn't bust it there. Okay. So right there at the 29.77.75. Notice that the MES isn't ticking up. The MES is giving different liquidity from the ES in terms of scalping bigger profits, I guess. What I guess the question is, how many would you go for in ES though? Hmm. What? Ten ticks for me is a big profit? Really? This situation I will short every move up, really? Trying to be patient here because the E-mini has had a tendency as of late to just kind of have these really, really slow moving trends. Now that said, I've only gotten, what? 4. 4 in favor and 4 against me on this. But the 4 in my favor was a new high. This range can take forever. Well, this is usually a crappy time in equities, but I've been doing okay with it in the evening. I don't know. Now it's taking it lower again. Treasuries ticked up there. A little aggressive bid. For as long as I've been in this, I feel like that in order for me to do well with this strategy, I'm going to have to get a lot better at picking my price in ES. It's a pretty good couple of ticks. Look for value arrays like UZ advises instead of pinpointing prices. Well, it's just like, let's just say that we were looking at this initial balance 29.76.25 area, right? And we wanted to go short there, okay? Would it still potentially make sense shorting the initial balance area at this particular time? Because to me, it feels like it could still happen. I'm not seeing any order flow supporting it yet, but it seems like to me like it could still happen. How many ticks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So you went short right there, and then guess what? You're at the bottom of the range. You're short from the bottom of the range. The worst spot you can possibly be short from. Get what I mean? Equities are moving up. Treasuries are moving up pretty good there. That was a pretty good trend. Equities aren't really responding, but they are moving down a little bit. It's making me nervous. It'd be lower risk to sell it where it is now than it is to buy it. That may be true. I think I don't know, man. I just don't understand this instrument as well as I do the treasuries, and it seems like I'm taking trades in really bad locations. You know, like just note, how is it I took that trade? How is it that I was able to pick the point of control? Like really? How did I do that? I'm doing something incredibly wrong. Probably beyond just which spots I'm picking. You're too often stuck in a range? Yeah. Well, this time I'm not surprised that I'm stuck in a range because we had a pretty strong move up. You know what I mean? I can see the robots as they take the orders and put them here. Some icebergs there. Even having trouble getting 2625? I mean, things have definitely turned on me, haven't they? I think I should just... I'm feeling sick, yep. If it does that and you're still holding, you want to see initiative buying. So basically you need support at 74. Well, here's this weak spot in the profile, right? See, the thing that I don't understand... Oh my gosh, those birds. It's okay. I mean, I made a bad trade anyways. It's okay. I took it off at a reasonable spot. I wish that I had taken the first one off at a reasonable spot. Right? Woulda, coulda. I don't think... I think there's a couple of problems here. You know, yeah, it's the zoo. The thing that really weirds me out, though, is that I'll take a trade. You know, it was up there, and then that ends up being the point of control. Like, how effing every time? How do I do that? That seems to me like that should be something that I should be able to make money out of. I don't understand how I pick that every time. Anyways. I guess if that's like my first impression that like this is where I should buy it, that's where everybody else is going to as well. And then that ends up being the point of control. You know what I mean? And then I can say, okay, 4 ticks below that. Boom. Something like that. Anyways. And then the spots that I'm taking don't seem to be okay. But I only took 3, so that's okay. That's good. One of them was positive. I should have gotten more out of it, but you think it can be disadvantageous to have the profile reset on the session? Yeah, I feel conflicted about that. So I was thinking the same thing. I like seeing everything reset when it does it, but I don't necessarily like not seeing the overnight session. But I can see the full session over here, so I can see that the point of control is actually at 74, for instance. That's because the price is in the range most of the time and you're going for larger moves. No, I think that I'm taking a trade specifically at a time in which it's more likely to be stuck in a range. If that makes sense. But I think there's a bigger problem here, guys, and that is that like when this goes against me, I'm getting like, the full 8 ticks or whatever against me. 16 against me. And when I'm getting the profits, I'm maybe getting 10 or 12. So I'm not really getting more favorable ticks than adverse ticks with this strategy. It seems to me that, I did all the math and everything beforehand, but it seems to me like this doesn't have a positive expectancy. Use aces, take 2 points. Well, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm taking 2.5 points. I mean, that was what I based it off of. And have a waffle after that. But I don't seem to be, well, let's see if we can do it. I do got to get going here. It's time for me to go. Refresh. I think I should go all the way to May. Past few days have been bad. Well, like I'm on a pretty bad losing streak. That's what I should say. But when I look here, they changed their stuff. I'm losing 60% of the time. Zaldia says it's best to reset the profile. I thought I had some stuff about places to buy and sell it that were good, but something's not right, And the funny thing is that when I was tinkering around with it before, I was doing pretty good on ES, but now it seems like it's a little bit slower to part of it is maybe that's why it's so bad. If I had been buying today, maybe I would be really happy. Although I did buy that one. Sold one, bought one. So that's another thing that drives me nuts is that I'm switching between them and I'm losing every time. You know what I mean? Maybe I really should just stick to treasuries. It's discouraging. But, I can trade these micros on Sim forever. If I need to. Yeah, of course, now they buy it. Fuck you, ES. I mean, that was the move I was looking for. It's like no matter what I do, though, I can never catch it in a right spot where I have the room, you know? Oh, it makes me mad. Because I was from... Where was I in from? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wouldn't have gotten 10. It's odd that it's having a hard time getting 10 as well. You just couldn't handle the suffrage. Yeah, well, we said that was what was going to happen, right? We said I might be right, but I might have to suffer for it first. Like 2978.50. Try to enter where the low volume is. Well, how do you know that that price isn't going to fill out now, though? The point of control trailing up did support your decision. Yeah, see, I think that this is the biggest problem with my thing is it's not, I don't think that it's directional. I think that if it was actually directional, that it would probably be 50-50. But because I can't seem to pick the right price, it's ending up being 60 against. So I need to figure something out about where is an okay price to buy, you know? If it fills out, you cut. I gotcha. Because well, so going back to it, 75 was the place to buy, right? It's actually funny that on that move down that they went back down to there. So when we were here, we took a long in this area, this 74 area. Where was the top of that range? It was 74.50. And then this ended up being the low. The low profile area. So it seems like I can use the profile to kind of estimate if we have a move up, where is the next profile going to draw? I think that's the way that I need to think about it. ZB just bounced off its low again. Do you sell this late in the day? Oh, man. I would like to sell that one, but I don't know. Anyways, it's time for me to go. Well, thank you guys. You know, I should really think about, well, I'm going to trade this. I'm going to continue trading the micros here for the rest of the summer, but at some point I'm going to have to consider that I just should stick to treasuries because I'm pretty good at that when it's going well. Well, if we were to sell now, you would want to do it right here, right? The other thing that bothers me is that I can see it when I'm watching where the trades, like people take trades and how these change and everything. It's like I can see that I'm doing it in the same place as other people, and I know that you're gonna lose with that one. Okay. Anyways, it shouldn't bother me because it's not like, you know, had 2 losers in a winner, and it's not like a huge loss of a day, but I still feel really down about it. All right. Later, guys. Stay profitable.